Welcome to Spiritual Guitar. My name is Devin. This is Daya. He's asleep right now because today we are not going to be playing or learning a song. Rather, we're going to focus on beginners and people who are just learning how to play and position and hold the guitar properly. If you're struggling to push down on that bar chord, if you're having trouble transitioning from one chord to the next, if you're not getting your notes to all ring out nice and cleanly, or maybe you're just not satisfied with your tone and your sound or the feel that you have as you're playing. What we're going to focus on in today's lesson is how to hold your guitar in the proper classical style position. We're also going to take an in-depth look at each hand, in particular the positioning, the technique, and what you're aiming for to make everything clean, comfortable, and enjoyable to play and listen to. Enough talking, let's get into it. So I'm sitting in the classical style position, and the reason that we do it this way as opposed to more of like the folk position where you're sitting like this is because it gives your left hand a better angle to position itself. You're, instead of out like this, you're in like this. And it gives you more ways to maneuver, especially with your pinky and moving your fingers around as you're adding in these melody notes. This position also makes my guitar much more stable. So I don't need my hands at all when I'm trying to hold my guitar in place. If I'm holding it in the folk position, it's not as stable. The only 2 points that I have, it's just 2 points, my knee and my chest here, and the rest of the guitar is kind of flopping all over. So people tend to use their left hand here to hold their guitar in place. And when you're holding your guitar in place with your left hand, you lose mobility with your left hand. You can't move it as quickly because you're pressing down a little too hard or you're using some sort of force to hold it in place. So when you move to the 3-point position, so I have this point here with this leg holding it, this leg really holding it in place, and more surface area of my chest as opposed to just this piece. It's really my full chest that it's resting against, and my guitar is really locked in place. You'll see me play like this in a lot of videos. I've played it this way for years and years and years, so I'm very comfortable and I can move the guitar around and it doesn't affect me that much. If you're just starting off and this is new to you, I would recommend starting like this. It's going to make it a lot easier to play. It's going to open up. You can arch your fingers a lot better when you're in this position, so you can let the strings, the open strings in between your fingers ring out much more cleanly. And like I said, it gives your fingers a lot more maneuverability here. And the reason that is because rather than having your elbow out, which a lot of people tend to do. They tend to sit with their elbows sticking out. My guitar teacher, when I was very young, this was the thing that I did when I visited him, and it was the first thing that he wanted to work on. And he wanted me to drop my arm down, so it's basically just hanging as straight as it can. Sometimes if you really want to overemphasize, you can dig it into your rib cage. If you want to make sure that you're really there, I can feel my elbow almost hitting the side of my rib cage. And what this does is it brings like this palm section of my pinky into the guitar, which allows my pinky a lot more maneuverability and mobility. If my arm is out like this and my hand is angled like that, my pinky is already really far away from the neck, from the fretboard. So I can get it down on that D string, but if I wanted to go up, I have long fingers, so some people don't have as long of fingers. It might be a little more challenging to get up here. If you swing everything around, the palm where my pinky joint or pinky knuckle meets my palm is almost touching the neck of the guitar. In fact, it is touching the neck of the guitar in my case. I'm a little exaggerated with it, but that really allows me just a lot more maneuverability and much cleaner sounding strings. Everything can ring out because my fingers are also nice and arched. That's an important part. If your fingers aren't arched, and let's say that happens a lot when people's thumbs are on the top of the neck. Your thumb is on the top of the neck, it's pulling your hand this way, and now your fingers don't have as much, it might feel a little more secure this way, but you're losing that arch in between your fingers, meaning that like if I have my fingers in the C chord, I want all of my fingers arched up as much as they can so that when my second finger is on this E note on the 2nd fret, 4th string, The open G string in between or underneath this rings out nicely. If I were to put my thumb up, now it sounds like this. Right? Because I'm blocking and touching the G string with my second finger. So thumb down in the middle of the neck, and we want our elbow, wrist kind of hanging just down loosely like this. If anything, tucked in a little bit more towards your rib cage, and your thumb right on the back of the neck. And that's going to really help your left hand position. I think that that's really going to help things. It's also going to help you with the bar chord. When we look at my right hand, let's focus on this here. I have the forearm here resting on the side of the guitar, and my fingers, I want to be striking right above this inlay here, right there. And what you want is you don't want your wrists to be hyperextended. You don't want your wrist extended outward. You don't want it extended down where it's resting on the guitar. You want it really as straight as possible. Mine does have a bit of a bend to it, something like that. But you don't want any pressure and you don't want any pain there. You also want to make sure that your fingers, here's a really great tip for your right hand to make things easier, especially when you're layering in the melody. You want to assign each finger a home string, meaning that when I start to play a lot of different notes, it can get confusing and jumbling if I don't know where my fingers should be in relation to the strings. But if I assign them home strings, and they kind of are assigned to cover certain strings, then it's a little easier for me to manage because I know that my thumb's not going to be up here and my index finger's not going to be down here. So in general, and especially for this song, your thumb is assigned to and lives on these three low strings. So your index, your middle, and your ring finger are never playing these three low strings. It's always your thumb. So my thumb is responsible for the low E, for the A string, and for the D string. Those three strings are for my thumb. My thumb is assigned to those, that's its home base. My index is always going to live on the G string on the third string here. My middle finger always lives on the second string, the B string, and my ring finger always lives on the high E string, always. And that's important because you're going to be playing a lot of notes quickly, and you don't want to have to worry about which finger is hitting which note. You always want to be alternating your M and I. That's another rule. So your index and your middle finger are generally always alternating. You're not playing your index back to back. You're not playing your middle finger back to back. They're always alternating. And then your ring finger, every once in a while, comes out. We call this A, so your ring finger is A. Your index is I, your middle is M. Your A finger, your ring finger, comes out every once in a while when we use the high E string for a melody note. And that's the only time. I hope that you found this helpful. I really enjoy focusing on technique and getting back to the basics, and I plan on posting many more videos like this. So be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of those. I also have a Patreon, which I will link down in the description below. I'd love to see you there. I post different video lessons, I give lessons, you can have lessons with my guitar teacher as well, and I have sheet music and tabs in the shop available. We also have a Discord community available if you'd like to join and connect with serious players, in particular people who are playing medicine music. I also have a short workbook that I've written that includes 10 different right-hand fingerstyle exercises that are intended for beginners and especially those of you who are interested in learning medicine music and medicine songs. What I've done is I've kind of put together different patterns and trends that I see in a lot of the different medicine music songs, and I've created exercises that are very digestible and easy for you for your right hand to slowly work your way up so that you can cleanly play through these songs. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this helped. Dai is getting ready to go out for his walk, so I'm going to take him out, and I will see you next time.